Dr. Haight. So for our project, we analyzed Piada, and we are group 6. So a little bit of background information. Piada is located in Oakland on Forbes Avenue, and it's been there since 2017. They serve a variety of Italian foods such as pasta, Piada wraps, soups, salads, and also seasonal specialties. Right now they're set up in an assembly style line, sort of how Chipotle is, and this is done so that they can have faster service. And Piada experiences its most heavy traffic during the week during rush hours. So our problem statement was that we noticed that Piada has inefficient processes during their lunch rush hour. Customers experience long waits to order their food, and we noticed there's some bottlenecks during the order assembly process and the food preparation process. So our goal was to improve the customer wait time by applying some of the productivity analysis tools that we've learned throughout the semester to hopefully improve these processes at Piada. So the modes of analysis that we chose to use. First, we chose to examine the 2 main processes at Piada, creating the Piada wraps and then creating the pasta orders. Those make up the bulk of the orders, so that's why we chose to look at those 2 processes. And then the tools that we chose to use, we made a facility layout diagram, process maps, motion analysis, time study, and also process flow charts.
Through our observation and analysis of the processes for both of the things we were observing at Piada, we were able to map out the flow for them. Here we present the flow for the Piada, and the flow for the pasta is very similar, minus a few different steps, smaller details. So what happens for the Piada is they receive the customer order, they then proceed to grill the wrap, they grill the meat for it, and then they put the meat into the Piada wrap. After that, they move it down the line and the customer selects the toppings that they want, and the workers put all the toppings that they need into the Piada, and then they wrap up the Piada. After that, they ask if the customer wants the order for here to go, and depending on what they say, they store the Piada accordingly for the customer. After that, there's an inspection step. They ask if the customer wants anything else, and if they do, then they go on and go back in the process to fulfill that customer's request, however it needs to be fulfilled. If not, they then calculate the price of the order and they get the money from the customer, and then they give the order and any change they need for the customer. Like I said, the process for the pasta order is very similar, except that there's no need to grill the Piada and there's no need to wrap it at the end. So from this map and from some other observations we've done, we were able to construct some flow process charts. From this, we saw that there are mostly operation steps in the process, but there are some moves and inspections that can be eliminated. Some of the inspections that can be eliminated are what I was talking about earlier, with the customer spending a lot of time to select the toppings within the process itself, and also with asking if there's anything else the customer needs at the end of the process. In addition, there were a lot of back and forth operations between the sauces and the toppings. So for example, a customer could say that they want a certain kind of vegetable in their Piada, and they would put the vegetable in, then they would go on and get sauce and cheese in it, and then they would go back and get a different vegetable. So there's a lot of back and forth transfer between those operations that could be simplified.
A motion analysis was done for this process using third legs. For wrapping the Piada, there were 190 motions, and for making pasta, there were 128. The right hand was used much more than the left hand due to having to hold the Piada in place or holding the bowl when moving it from station to station. Also, collecting toppings and moving meat was done primarily with the right hand in both cases. A time study was also taken for this process, breaking the process up into 8 steps. Differences can be seen at the initial ordering and grilling station, with the Piada taking only 29.3 seconds and pasta taking 23.64 seconds. Another large difference was in customer having to choose toppings. Toppings were much common for the Piada wraps as to pastas, so the time for Piadas was 16.9 seconds and for pasta 5.97 seconds. These were average times taken from 10 cycles, and the average total normal time for Piadas was 128.4 seconds, and for pasta, 115.9 seconds.
Okay,
Okay, so from all this analysis, we were able to construct a few proposed solutions. We actually came up with 4 specifically. The first one was basically just to pre-grill the piada wrap. We noticed that there was a lot of wait time when someone ordered a piada. They would put the piada onto the cooking element, and then that would heat up the piada and then get moved down the line. If they were able to somehow keep 1 or 2 piadas kind of warm and ready to go, this could potentially reduce that wait time that people are experiencing early on in the line. The next solution that we decided upon was to use an order form system. This has kind of been a new system that has been emerging in multiple types of restaurants, where the order is placed solely on a food card such as this, where the customer would come in the door, grab one of these slips, and they would be able to check to say that they maybe wanted a piada that had chicken and broccoli and all that kind of stuff, so that they would be able to reduce their interaction in the actual line, and the actual workers could begin their order a little bit earlier, so they didn't have to wait until they got all the way up to the order step in line to actually begin it. Another proposed solution was to switch the locations for the sauces and the toppings. Like Chris was saying earlier, we saw a lot of back and forth between these 2 stations, but we did notice that if we did switch these 2 stations, that we could see a little bit better flow through them, and potentially some better product. The last proposed solution we made was to place all the toppings for the order at once and then the sauces, rather than switching back and forth. And this is really just to reduce that distance that we saw throughout the reaches. This was to give you an idea of how the current store is laid out, and gives you an idea of where those topping and sauces stations is for when we did decide to move it. As you can see, this is where the door is located in Piada, and then this is actually where you start to place your order, right by the Piada grill. From there, you have the reheat stove for the meat. Pre-cooked noodles sit at the next station, and then you have your protein options, your chicken, your steak, your salmon. And then you have your sauces, toppings, dressings, and soup to finish out the line. There's a little bit of a dead space right before the cashier, where they normally ask you to make sure that your order is made properly, and then you hit the cashier for payment and your receipt. There is a few stations at the end that we didn't include, which was the specialty drinks, the prep station, the fryers in the back, the protein grill, the stovetop, another fryer, and then the fridge where they store all of their protein. And then the last station is located about 10 feet south and 10 feet east of the Piada Grill, and that's where you get all your drinks, your utensils, and more. So if we move to the next slide, you can see our proposed facility layout, where we did in fact switch the sauces and toppings to hopefully create a little bit better flow and kind of get rid of that wasted time that we were seeing at those 2 spaces. That was our entire presentation. Thank you so much for watching.